Sure, in your eyes he's a girl because when you first saw him he looked like one. He's not. He hates it. He cries himself to sleep, thinking about why he was born like this, why he'll never be like the other boys. Every single night. So stop calling him her. He's not a girl and never was. He hates his body, his voice, his face. He hates it every time someone calls him a girl. It's fucking painful. It's fucking painful. Every fucking word that comes out of your mouth is excruciating to hear.
Trans folks are undergoing a genocide right now.
Hi. As a Holocaust survivor, I have given this a lot of thought. To me, there is no question that the transgender society is going through genocide. The question is, what are we going to do about it?
If you're a homophobe, get off my fucking page. If you're a transphobe, get off my fucking page. If you're a racist, get off my fucking page. If you think
This person said, wait, you're trans, dude, I had no idea, you passed super well. I've gotten a lot of comments like this recently, and here's my main thing, right? I only talk about two things on TikTok. Number one, being trans, and number two, Pokemon. So, you are following me. If you didn't know I was trans, does that mean you're following me for my Pokemon content? Because, like my new shirt is pretty cool. I don't know. I usually don't respond to comments like these. I just think it's funny because the person follows me. So that means, wait, what are you following me for? What are you following me for?
When I was a trans kid, I swear to God, all I wanted to do was like fucking unalive myself all the time. And I wasn't even surrounded with half of the transphobic rhetoric that's happening now. So like, shout out to trans kids who aren't unaliving themselves because you are literally the toughest motherfucker in the room. You are tougher than the toughest fucking bodybuilder. And you should fucking stick around because you're a fucking tough bitch.
Post a photo of you when you had long hair. I'd recommend not saying this to most trans people because a lot of people feel uncomfortable with pre-transition photos of themselves, but I personally really like showing off my progress, so here is me pre-transition. I was probably about 14 or 15 in these pictures, and here's me now, at almost 20 years old.
What are my pronouns?
those are correct.
For some reason, some people in our comments like to think that we are a straight couple. Let me tell you, Gravel is a trans man. I am trans mask. We both use the terms partner and boyfriend. We are not straight. Nothing about us is straight. Thank you.
I have this thing, I'm transgender.
Here's a reminder, if you're currently wearing a binder, have you been wearing it for like 6 hours now, then you should probably take a break. And a tip for when you have to take a binder break is get shirts with a built-in bra, because then your tatas don't have to hang loose.
As a trans guy, I get a lot of transphobes commenting on my videos saying that I'm going to regret my transition in the future, screaming at me that these changes are permanent, as if I didn't know that. I think the funny thing about these comments is they don't realize I started testosterone nearly 4 years ago, and I got top surgery 3 years ago. I think if I was going to regret my transition, it would have hit me by now. I have never felt uncomfortable with a single change that I experienced on HRT, and I look in the mirror every day and I'm thankful that I have top surgery so I can live my life to the fullest. Being trans was never really a question for me. Ever since I was a kid, I was incredibly insistent that I was a boy and that I wanted a masculine body. There's this this idea that trans kids have been brainwashed into being trans, but I grew up in a conservative Christian household with very little internet access, and I was still insistent that I was a boy. Just because I didn't have the exact words to describe what I was feeling as a kid doesn't mean that I wasn't feeling it. Forbidding kids from fully understanding gender and its complexities doesn't actually stop them from being trans, it just makes them feel isolated, like I was. I guess the main reason I feel the need to say this is I've seen so many parents say, if your kid says they're the opposite gender, just tell them they're not. And that's exactly what my family did with me at first. And guess what? I'm still trans.
This girl was injured by a trans volleyball player. Here's what happened.
Did you just say someone was injured while playing a sport? Good God, what has the world gone to?
Did you know there's actually lots of different types of testosterone gel that you can use? I've used 3 of them because insurance reasons, and I wanted to review them. Also, I just cropped this jacket, and I think it looks perfect, and I would like you to give me some praise. Thanks. Okay, back to the video. This is not going to be a scientifically based video at all, this is just my personal experience. The first one that I used came in a packet form, kind of like a ketchup packet, and I gotta say, it was stinky, it was slimy, it was messy, got over everything, not a fan. I would say the one advantage of this style of testosterone is that you could use the packet itself as an applicator. So I would tear off a little packet, I'd put it on my thigh because I needed a big surface area or else it would fall off. Honestly, this stuff was so slippery. And then I could use the packet to wipe stuff on. So, you know, double function, we love that. The second one that I used came in a tube form, kind of like a thing of toothpaste. The thing with toothpaste though, have you ever struggled to get all of the toothpaste out of the goddamn tube? Don't put liquids in tubes. We can't get stuff out of the... I was very frustrated with this testosterone application type. Also, there's less liquid inside of these tubes, and like different application types, the different types of gel, there's different chemicals that make up the gel, right? The gel is just what carries the testosterone. So the gel type can actually change. And there was just less, there was way less in the tubes than there are in the packets. So I felt like I was getting less tea, and that made me anxious. The last one I started using though is my absolute favorite. It's this guy right here, the pop. That was not as dramatic as I planned on it being. This one, minimal stinkiness unless you push your face right up next to where you're putting it on. The gel type is very, what's the word I'm looking for? It's not very highly viscous. Its viscosity is low. I used to be a science major, I promise. It doesn't slide around. It's nice. It works really well. The one thing I will say is once you start getting near the bottom, it's hard to tell, like, if it's really totally out. Like, if you cut it open, maybe there might be some more in, but then you wouldn't be getting the right application amount, so you wouldn't want to do that. Overall though, pump is the favorite. It's the cleanest, it's the least stinky, and it's just easy to put on. Oh, and it dries the fastest. Those other two took like an hour to dry. I just wouldn't let it dry. I would just go to bed with it wet, and then it would stick to my sheets, which is disgusting. Don't do that. Okay, thanks, love you, bye.
Is top surgery painful? Like any surgery, there are going to be discomforts, especially the first week after top surgery. My pain levels never rose above a 6, and it was very manageable with the medication they gave me as well as Tylenol. I was given 10 oxy pills, and I took 1 a day as needed. I mostly used Tylenol for the pain, and it was completely manageable. I was so nervous at first, I thought the pain was going to be completely unbearable, but it was more tight and uncomfortable versus painful. If you are in excruciating pain, you have to call your surgeon because you should never be in so much pain that you can't function. Keep in mind that everyone has different pain levels, but this was my experience. For me, the most uncomfortable part was the tightness of the bandages. So once the bandages were removed, I felt so much better. Getting and having top surgery is so much better than any pain or discomfort I ever could have endured. Feeling my flat chest makes it all worth it. If you got top surgery, please feel free to share your experience because everyone's experience is different. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments and I'll be sure to answer.
Full Metal Alchemist.
Full Metal Alchemist.
Trans people have existed all throughout history, and since I've been playing a lot of Red Dead, let's discuss the most famous trans icon of the Wild West, Harry Allen. From a young age, Allen refused to wear dresses or skirts and instead dressed in men's clothing. He also learned skills typical of a man at the time, such as corralling and shooting. Allen was also infamous for starting and ending saloon fights. He was a ladies' man, often pursuing multiple partners at the same time. Harry had many run-ins with the law and was once arrested for selling alcohol to an indigenous person. In jail, Harry was offered an ultimatum: dress in women's clothing or be locked in solitary confinement. He refused to conform. I think the most surprising part of this was how supportive his mom was for Allen's whole life. She supported his decision to dress how he liked, and she referred to him as his chosen name, and anytime he was arrested, she was right there to demand his release. Harry Allen is only one of these stories from the Wild West. There's plenty of LGBTQ icons who lived in this time. So if you're interested in more of these or LGBT plus history as a whole, drop a follow, check out the playlist, and maybe suggest a story for me to cover.
Giving my broad top surgery. First incision. Time for the other side. Late I kind of cleared this. Looking good, king. We're literally going to be matching in 2 days.
Look, I am aware that some people only respect my pronouns because they think I'm hot.
I don't care. You're respecting my pronouns and you think I'm hot? Okay.
I'm autistic. I am not gonna be reading between the lines. I'm not doing that. So you could be like, yeah, babe, she, her, they, them, let me she, them, tits, all right? And I'll be like, oh my God, they're so nice. They're so nice. Because if that's what it takes, to have people respect my pronouns, I am only gonna get hotter. And that's not a promise. That's a threat. The trans agenda is real. And it's me being sexy.
No, I agree. I don't think that kids should be able to mutilate their bodies either. You're talking about school shootings, right? We should abolish guns so that those tiny bullets don't obliterate children's bodies. Are you talking about the abortion bans and how we should bring back Roe v. Wade? Because I also agree that a child should not be forced to conceive another child because it will destroy their body since the body's not ready, right? Oh, wait, no, you mean pageants. You think that we should end pageants because it's crazy how little girls are allowed to go up on stage as young as a month old in a two-piece bikini and model for men, spray tanning their bodies and bleaching their teeth, putting giant wigs in their dyed hair. Oh, wait, no, I'm sorry. You mean nose jobs, which any child is allowed to get with parental signature. Have we hit on the right page yet? Maybe you meant car accidents or sports. Children can get hurt and mutilated in those too. You're right. No children should ever be allowed to ride in a car because it could mutilate their bodies, and no kid should play a sport because that could also mutilate their body. We should just be extra careful. In fact, let's wrap all of our kids in bubble wrap, leave them inside in a closed room, and only teach them what we want to teach them, preferably from the Holy Bible and nothing else. Would that keep them safe from mutilation? Oh, wait! There's shit in that Bible where God mutilates his own people. We don't want them to read the chapter where that guy almost sacrifices his own kid to prove his love for God, and then God goes, ha, just kidding. Because wouldn't that little kid look up at you and be like, Mommy, are you gonna do that to me? Because that's what I did. That could really mutilate a child's mind. I don't know. So far, I agree with all these points. You know, keep kids away from churches and guns and beauty pageants. I agree with all this. This is what you meant, right? These are all things that are harming children, but you know something that I've never heard of death from? Hormone replacement therapy. You want to take a guess how many mass shootings where 2 or more persons were killed happened last year? 647. You want to know how many mass shootings have happened this year where 2 or more persons have been killed? 130. Now, how many kids last year and this year died from hormone replacement therapy? 0. Not one. Not one. If it was really about protecting the kids, those would be the types of concerns going off in your brain. But no, you want to attack children's health care. What a savior.
Get a load of this monster. He doesn't know how to communicate. His mind is in a different place. Will everybody please give him a little bit of space? Get a load of this chamber! That's the message he doesn't know who he is yet. The little time we know the stars. Welcome in with open arms.
Yes! Yes! Yes!
Gender affirmed.
And who's gonna kiss the brown-haired girls? Who's gonna wipe away their tears?
Near Senpai, what's up with her? I'm clearly a he. He assumed my gender, and he was wrong.
Especially since that indulgence requires taking away the rights and customs of so many people. If it is false, then for the good of society, and especially for the good of the poor people who have fallen prey to this confusion, transgenderism must be eradicated from public life entirely. The whole preposterous ideology at every level.
Yes, you are a bigot. Everything about what you've just said here sums up exactly why. You're not just ill-informed here, but you swallowed up every last spoonful of shit fed to you directly from the bull's arse, that is right-wing media. Drag queens are literally just men who cross-dress for the purpose of entertainment. That's it. It's not exclusively adult entertainment, it's just entertainment. They are of no threat to anybody, not even children. In regards to gay marriage, I have spoken about this time and time again, but the Bible does not condemn homosexuality. Your scholars have been trying to teach you this for years now, and even if it did, you still can't use the Bible to oppose gay marriage, because the marriage traditions we hold in the 21st century is not a biblical concept. Biblical marriage in the ancient days was about marrying off your child as soon as they hit puberty for the purpose of property and reproduction. That is it. There is a reason we do not do that today. One quick question before I move on. Why is it you guys always oppose gay marriage, but you never oppose atheists getting married? Now, in regards to the rest of your comment, don't pretend that you give a damn about the well-being of children, because that gender-affirming care you're referring to there has been proven to reduce the likeliness of teen suicide by 70%. If you actually gave a damn about the well-being of kids, you wouldn't have mentioned any of that. You'd be up in arms over the leading cause of child deaths in the US, which right now is guns. And don't give me that right-wing nonsense that gun violence is not about the guns, it's about mental health and broken homes. Those issues are worldwide. Mass shootings and school shootings are an American problem. So yes, you are a bigot because you hold unreasonable, prejudiced views against certain groups of people. And I'm going to tell you once again, your religion is not a shield to protect you from the social consequences of discrimination. Your faith is yours and personal, but these are human lives we are talking about.
So my voice may be shaky, my hands may be trembling, but it is not out of fear or trepidation, but out of indignation and righteous anger.
But you are doing irreversible damage to these kids.
That should be in school, learning history, not making it.
What you are doing is wrong. These aren't statistics, these are people.
We need to be stronger together.
You cannot stop me. I
will not be stopped.
He didn't say love everybody except the people you don't like, except trans people, except children, people of color, except the disabled. Said love everybody.
Any other parents, I will do anything I can to protect my child and the children in my community.
How dare you? The blood will be on your hands.
And I will not stand for it. We will not stand for it. We may not win today, and we may not win tomorrow, but we will persist as we always have in the fight of your oppression.
9/11 was bad.
I agree with that.
9/11. 9/11.
Our trans siblings are under attack, and we need to do more. They need to know that we love them and support them and will do whatever it takes to stop this genocide from happening. You are loved, you are valid, we are here for you.
Welcome to America. You can be anything that you want to be. You can do anything that you want to do. As long as it's not something that we don't like. As long as you're not a woman. As long as your race is white. As long as you're white passing. As long as you agree with your biological sex. As long as you'll carry every single baby to full term against your will. As long as you're a Christian. As long as you're rich. America. A cis white old man's playground.
Not a girl. Not a boy. And just not.
Hello, my name is Zeb. I am 10 years old. I use they, them pronouns, and I am transgender non-binary. At what point do I go from being someone you protect to someone who is a threat? Not based on my heart or any of my actions, but just based on my genitalia and your ignorant ideas of what you think who I am means. I deserve to age without fear that the bathroom and change space that allows me to feel safe and at peace will be taken from me. I deserve to become an adult that has freedom to use a change room I need